L'chaim, l'chaim. Verständig. Again? Vergakt. Vergakt. Okay, Mendel, wow. What's a verbringen? Unbelievable. Okay. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. We machen l'chaim.
You can even do that on Salzburg.
Yes, Mendel, you want to do it on seltzer or on Polish Avasa?
Hmm.
Which one?
Hmm.
The Polish? Okay, fine.
I'll take myself.
Why? I give you. You're the Kohen.
Come on, now you bring what's
L'chaim.
it? What is that?
Both here.
It's nice looking. One of them.
Once. Seltzer
It's
is
better
better.
than this.
I don't know. That's perfect. B'tavo. This one? Yeah, sure. It's perfect. What's button? What's this? So I did a bunch of bottles of this. I brought a bunch of bottles. That's cool. Oh, it's stress. Fine. Uh-huh. Fine. Schmeckt up to this. Let me see a little different. What's up? Okay. A little bit. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, the parents.
Luckily,
Coming to
luckily, okay.
Nothing can be better than us for bringing before Slickers with Mandel Friedman. Chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. In the Dvar Malchus that you have on the tables today, there is there is a Fabrengen from Shabbos Lichus, and the Rebbe says that Klal Yisrael needs a special schus. There's a letter that the Rebbe had sent out that year, and Tezvov Elu, and the Rebbe was upset that there was a Mara Mokim that the Rebbe himself wrote that seemed to be Nishsa de Zach, and nobody chap. Agam, if you think about it, it's a oimik lefnime oimik lefnime oimik. But still, the Rebbe. So why didn't someone ask and answer? Um, I always mention about this that you think of the Rebbe's letters, like especially with the fancy Yiddish, and they're so like fluffy, light and fluffy. Anyway, in that letter, the Rebbe asked that the Yos Klassen needs a special schus. They should make a kinus of Rabbim Yisrael, and there should be three things: Shalema Olam Oimed, Valdevel Shokultzef. There should be Torah, should learn Torah, and to do Avoid and Gemilas Chasodim. The Rebbe suggested to be first one. It should be the night of Slichas. Mezalanen, Epis, and Torah. The Rebbe suggested maybe the Ma'am Elachashim Atzdok of Lona Boishas upon him from the Alter Rebbe, which is published in the beginning of the Slichas. And if not, it should be a chelik of the Ma'am. And then after Chatzois, a minute before you start the Metzoy Menucha, to give tzedakah, because Agam does not to give tzedakah balayla, but the Rebbe said that the Ken Zogman this is nor parchatzes, just like Lagabi Limud Torah that Chazal say. How did Moshe Rabbeinu know when is Yom, when is Laila? When the Eibusha Torah and Torah Shabbat was Yom, Torah Shabbat is Laila, and therefore a Piarizal you're not supposed to learn Torah Shabbat balayla. Yet Minig Yisrael Torah that after Chatzos learn and yet Torah Shabbat. The Rebbe said could be tzedakah is the Zal Bazach. So you should give tzedakah a minute before slichas. And slichas tefillah is the ultimate of tefillah. The Eibush showed Moshe Rabbeinu, like it's Chazal say, brought in the Lavush that we saw tonight in the video that the Eibush told the Moshe Rabbeinu the Yidden need slicha. The Eibush showed him how he wrapped himself up with a talus, and he said, "Say the slicha." And the Rebbe said to do it a second time in the Aseres Yemei Tshuva, and a second time and a third time after the Yom Tov. me, your ten, your dad, ma, like the different years that have felt are different, But so since it's in the Malchus this week, so let's learn a little shtickle the Maimer, and then we'll go into the Fabrengen. It's like different years. For example, before the Yom Kippur War broke out, the Rebbe that in the summer, they said there should be a lot of kinnusim, especially the Pesach Badek Islam Arabi, little children saying you'd be sucking. There were different times. Sometimes there were things that the Rebbe asked that the Olam should do, and nothing spectacular happened. I know it's a good Zach, but okay, let's do first thing the Torah. Because if you turn around, the words of Shabbos is Toshev. They tshuva shekodem aloylam kamay Shabbos yochel agiv lama mokem shel tzadikim gemurim ene cholim einam oimdem, which is not Stam Shabbos but Shabbos Shabbos. Let's turn the page. Hine iksiv noichi 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 b'shech lamani l'hovim beis pam manoichi dina b'cholav avcha b'shnei tzerech b'yitzatov b'yitzahoreb. They oimek rash benafshoy hamaster klippe pesherav dan nekudas arots navle olam hazeh kshemizgaber nafshe lekis nekudas arots nasham lavadoi. Sometimes the Yitzhahora has this upper hand, and sometimes the Yitzhahov and the Nefesh Lekis has the upper hand, and Nekudas Arotzen Hashem Lavadoi Hazai Zeh Arotzen Agufni Yamed Meneget. So when the Nekuda Lekis is Nesoyer in the Neshama, the Bahami stands up stronger to fight against it. Kumashkosa Bash Lechas Nafshi Kumashiyama Dodam Al Nafshi Bedover Aod Bekosher Benafshi Moed Lashlich Makorat Nedover Aod La Yosef. חצי ושלוחס המקרה, לא מהם כל השבת סרח, שעדיין יש מנהגת, העיקר רשס על הספלוס הגיע בפרינס בכי, יצר שומחן די. nog het לחיים, זה אנחנו nog het לסלק. Sure.
If there's a few more times, then you'll be able to stay. You heard what I was saying? A few more times you'll be able to hear everything.
Yeah.
That one is not mine.
So Achi Yitzir v'shloch zeh meragla meim chalei chafat samach shedan yesh menage de iker reishes aschol yiv b'chim b'chil ad shem moyes b'chayev mamash b'im shari dima de kedusha shem shorim psochim shalom mektoy. That the shari adima of kedusha is the shari dima of oim mekatoyv. What does a person cry? But he has an unbelievable ksifa. As you remember, the Rebbe used to cry by Haftorahs, that there were Kriyas Neiros, befrat by Haftorah Rosh Hashanah. That when a person has an unbelievable ksifa, it comes out in Demos. So losi amones arotzim mispashit, and that doesn't allow that the rotzim of the heipef should be mispashit. V'chein rotzim the klipa menei gibel rotzim lakus moed radmos the kedusha. You say the
Haftarahs, it was a Balkan reading Haftarahs.
Oh, the Rebbe songs. They still always give the Rebbe
You read?
every Haftarah is on them, the Rebbe read. I know, Masha Karmoz, Bachayev, Ish Mavshi, Mineged, Epsochim, Shkvanich, Zvehem, Prince Rotz, the Gedusha, Asher, Epsochim, Hu Admoz, Vapchik, Sheloitz, Lahashmir, Vazeb, Pchi, Avoy, Vepischa, Mekatoy, Nimtza, Yedei, Shuva, Mekara, Nichnas, Vepischa, Mekatoy, Vedeser, Slatatum, Ergam, Kalamayla, Pfinis Atzilis, Pfinis Raiv, the Karaiv, Misgalas, mit Darachampem, Amoichel, the Saloyach, Boiver La Pesha, Pashodum, Shiag is Lachaveda Bedove, Shasneged Son of Azay, is Talk to Seretzen Memenik, Shivak, Menamachila, near enough, Bishas, Neged Retzonal, is Talk, let's say, Memeno, Yirtzaboy, Linya, Rotzen. So the Nakuda one, number one is the Bechi that a Yid has. The Nakuda number two is that we want Abish's Rotzen should be with us. Vinyan Rotzen Yedua, Shiyam Shachts Matmis and Efesh, Resadava Protish, and Neged, Rotzen is battle. I'm Shocher Rabbi Kazu Commission on Merida Fibla Atzmi. Rabbi Machasakov Show, the family Hibit of Miyankiv, when there's such an unbelievable Ava from the Abish of the Yidden. So then, even if there's a fault by Yidden, it's low Hibit oven. He can't see, just like a person can't see his own faults because Akop Shem Tachasa Ava. Sheritz Hashem Amma Mechab Salechel Kop Shem Ibnei. Shem Tev Semakim Etzli Klal. So Neuchish, it's a Sicham Eretz Mitzrayim, Pidish, Neuchim, Mish, Neuchi, Shur, Hashem Panav Bnei Yisrael, Pam Mitzim Mitzrayim, Pirish Mavdal Klippus Mitzrayim Shebenefesh Kila Eina Mishum Shalom Ibid Oven Keshem Alakov Ime Chen Satzma without that the Slicha Mechila, the ultimate Slicha Mechila is the hardest point for the Eibush Eden is so strong, just like when you love yourself, you can't see anything false. So Lahivit Oven Meyakim, that the Gilu Av the Eibush Eden is so strong that the Kilu, it's not shaykh to see any. So just like a person knows he has a chisaron, a big deal. So I have this chisaron. What's the big deal? Same thing by the Eibush Eden. Finis Galus Ratzim Yisrael Shem Yisrael Shem Hukchen Sanoichi Amoichel Sheichem Adei Anoichi Rishon Anoichi Lemani Lemanatzmusim Yehusik. כחוכמה, אין תמוצא שמזל דערכם פן בחוכמה, כנסצנה שבו יושרש קונצון וברס פן בחוכמה, וגיצה שם פונב, כסגלס שהאורס פונב, אוי מכתוב לעצם ולוי וכנס הפסוחים שבו, וזה לך שמצדוק המלכוס דה אינסוף רשס אורס הקו, אז נקרא שבה שבוסן, שבה שליים שבחוכם. זה למעני ימשך הנויך למחל בשם, והוא על ידי בישס פונב ככל הקורב יוסר, יהד את תפיס הסמוקים מעצמי, כל שנס ביישס לעצמו סוי, והדרי בתול האמיתיה, שבחינס התאים שבנף שבורס פונם גריפל הסקרב לעומק טוב דעצילס כמו שהסקרב חינס, לא ישס הפונם שהוא הדרי לגמרי, זה לך שמצדוק לנו בישס פונם, לא ישס אויסס שבס, אז יור בוי שבס שבוס. Okay, לחיים. Okay, the Rebbe shall help Taka that the Alter Rebbe says that the busha comes, we see such unbelievable discarvis to the Eibishter, that we feel the busha to the Eibishter. So we should feel this discarvis. L'chaim. Okay, Motzei Shabbos, I'm learning my myself from the Baal Shem Tov. So I wanted to meet the Baal Shem Tov told the story. He was there. It's a story in a story. He told the story to the Baruch Hu. But we'll just get straight to this second story. That once there came a Rav with Uzkuk Sheina Talmid Chacham. Zayit Uzkuk Amoritz came to Baal Shem Tov. And the Rav says to the Baal Shem Tov that this man would like that my son become a son. My son should marry his daughter. He should become a son-in-law. I'm not sure if it's the right thing. I'm a choshev Rav, and he's a very ish pashut. So the Baal Shem Tov says, "No, the kala is a bal midas toivus. The girl is a good girl." He says, "Yeah, it's a bal midas toivus. She's a tznuah. Yeah, good to shidduch." The Baal Shem Tov said they should bring out mashke, and should bring out some honey cake, lekach, made l'chaim, they made tnoim on the spot. Okay? No shidduch crisis. Very easy. Huh? So and when the two people left, the Baal Shem Tov like said to himself, the Olam Elatzonis is a good shadchan. The Talmud, the Baal Shem Tov, was very curious to know what the Baal Shem Tov meant. The Olam Alatzonis Aguta Shadchan. So he went running out and he chapped it off and he asked him, the Baal Shem Tov, when you left, said, the Olam Alatzonis Aguta Shadchan. Could you tell me what this means? Wow. I said, I can't believe the Baal Shem Tov said that. I said, yeah. He said, I'll tell you what it means. This man that wants to become my Machutin, he was the water carrier in my town. He was a Oni Ve'evyan. He used to bring water to our house. And he once started to doing a little business. He did, and he was a stark Matzliach. And gewonnen a Oisha Godel. Oh, well, I got it. Oh. He became a Oisha Godel. Now, he every day, there's a Shatchen comes, and he says that this Osher wants to become my Machutin. And he promises the Shatchen triple the Shatchonas geld. And the Shatchen darf ein bisschen Parnasa. So he's begging me every day. And every day I tell him, no, it's not Shaykh. Once I'm sitting in the base medrash, and I'm looking into a toisus. A toisus, I fell asleep in the Gemara. And in my sleep, I see as if I'm traveling to collect money for my yeshiva. Collecting money is not kishmat. It's not fun.
For the living.
Huh?
For the living.
Yeah. But sometimes you have no choice.
Only the first million.
Only the first million is hard. Second million is easy. Everyone now, I think, knows what we're talking about. So,
Stop work.
Baruch Hashem, we should only know from such difficulties.
Yeah.
So he walks into town before he starts collecting money. He walks into Beis Medrash. He sees that the Yidden are sitting and learning. It's a sugya that he knows. And he doesn't like it. They're not learning the Gemara glot. So he walked over. He said, Reb Yid, can I tell you the pshat? Well, I'm sure. Start saying the pshat. And all of a sudden, people start laughing. Ha! Shtik amoritz. You think you understand the pshat in the Gemara? Everyone's laughing at him. There's such bushes. He walked out of the base medrash. He walked to a different base medrash. He decided this time he's going to keep his mouth shut. What's nageh this pshat, that pshat? He's collecting money, right? What's nageh the pshat? What's nageh the pshat? When you come to someone he wants and you're asking him, so someone tells me that this get him baladik. What's the baladik nish baladik? As long as the guy puts his credit card down for the campaign, it's nish nageh baladik nish baladik. That's the main thing. But he couldn't hold his mouth shut. He heard them learning again a Gemara, a different Gemara, and they're saying the wrong pshat, and he thinks he knows the right pshat. And he walks over and he tells them the pshat, and again they start laughing at him. Shtik ha'ma'aretz. Everyone's laughing at him. He walks out of the base medrash. He goes to the third base medrash, and this time he says, "That's it. I am not saying a word. I am not saying a word. I came here to collect for the campaign base Menachem Echel. We got to make sure there's a million in the account by the end of the week. I came to collect money. I didn't come to say Chidushei Torah." But he walks in and he hears them talking mamash a sugya that he's now teaching, and he hears them saying the wrong pshat. And he walks over to the table and he says, "Rabbi, can I say the pshat? It's the wrong pshat." Starts talking. All of a sudden, someone screams out. He says, you see the shtik amoritz is telling us a pshat. You know this guy? There's there's a rich man that wants to take his son as a son-in-law. He wants to support him for entire life. He can sit and learn. And this guy is such a big bal gaivis, to make a shatchen with that guy because he's a water carrier. Shtik amoritz. He thinks he's a big Talmud Chacham. And he's so embarrassed. And he looks up and he sees the base medrash is empty. He just woke up and he's looking at his Gemara and it's really late at night. The base medrash is empty. He comes home and he's shaking. He tells his wife to something. Next morning, when the shotgun comes to him again and asks him about the shidduch, like Shatchan couldn't believe it. he tells him, "Oh, bring the water carrier here." And then he goes to the Baal Shem Tov, and he asks the Baal Shem Tov, and that's what happened. That's what the Baal Shem Tov said, that the Olam Alatzonis is a good shatcha. The Olam Alatzonis is a good shatcha. Yeah, that's it. No shidduch crisis. If you make shidduch on this way. Yeah.
From there,
When I told the story at home, my children asked if the Kaleb Klal was part of
The conversation.
the conversation. I said, "Kemuven not, kemuven not," and they probably lived happily ever after. Everything was really good. The Kalad Guta Midas Tsanua, he's the Bocher, he's Yiddish Shemaim, Alen Toida. Yeah, and the Salz is good. The Rebbe in a Fabrengen, the Rebbe said, Hashs Netzov. The Rebbe said that there is a kisv yad that's coming out, constantly coming out. That time, the Rebbe, a ksav yad from a maimah came to the Rebbe's desk, and it was a maimah in Pashas Bamidbar and Lakutei Torah, where the Alter Rebbe talks about that there's a oil that the Eibishter created in the first day of creation. With that oil, you could see Mesoifa Oilam Atzoifa, and the Eibishter's gone Zay Batoira, the Eibishter hid it in Torah. And the Alter Rebbe talks about the pshat of it. I think it's Daftes in Lakutei Torah, Pasha Bamidbar. The Rebbe said that in this Ksav Yad that he has now, there is in Sograim, there's a story. So the story was either told by the Alter Rebbe or the Tzemach Tzedek, but it's a tell in the Lakutei Torah, the story was cut out. In our Lakutei Torah, we don't have that story. What was the story? There's two Gisos. We'll talk now about the second Gis, if this time is short. That's given Ayid Asoich. He comes to the Baal Shem Tov. And that he said he was a soicher, he was selling shvarim, oxen. And he had a whole bunch of shvarim, and they got lost. They ran away. A bunch of oxen, so he was a big loss. That was his business. It's like a fleet of cars. He lost them. He doesn't know what to do. So the Baal Shem Tov took the Sefer HaZoyer HaKodesh that was on his table, and he opened it up, and he looked in the Zohar, and he told him it's a city in Germany called Breslau, and he said in the market, if you go right now to Germany, to this city, you'll find the Shvarim Adreitzach in the Shuk. The Adkan the Maisa. The Alter Rebbe says, so you see that the Baal Shem Tov opened the Zohar, and in the Zohar HaKodesh, she found the Or that the Eibishter hid, that Or that you could see Masoifa Oil V'Yad Soifoi, and that's why he saw that the oxen were in Germany and Breslau. Atkan the Sipur, the way it's brought from the Alter Rebbe. The Rebbe said that could be that Tzemach Tzedek took out the story because it's a funny story. If a person's going to read the Maimer, the Baal Shem Tov, the Heilige Baal Shem Tov, the guy lost up the Dreifir oxen, and the Baal Shem Tov is opening up Zohar. It's like a funny story. The main funny part of the story is was hat zeton the Zohar HaKodesh mit the ox.
That's where they put in the
So the Rebbe says it's not Yidua how that story got cut out from the Lakutei Torah. Well, the point is Vadai that either Alter Rebbe Tzemach told the story of Shas, he said the Maimer, and Ki Yadua the story of Hillel Paritcher, that when the Rebbe says a Maimer, the Rebbe loved the story. That Hillel Paritcher, that once had a dispute with the other Chozim, Pshat and Maimer. So they went to the Tzemach Tzedek and asked the Tzemach Tzedek the Pshat. The Tzemach Tzedek said that they were right and he was wrong in understanding the Pshat. And they left the Tzemach Tzedek's room, so they said to him, He said, what, my pshat is the pshat. They said, but the Tzemach Tzedek said that we were right. I said, okay, Tzemach Tzedek said, it's fine. But when the Rebbe says a Maimer, it's Dvar Hashem that's rolling off his tongue. Now we have to talk about the pshat. I still think my pshat is right. so the this story is told in a Maimer. Both Gisos, they're both in a different Ksav Yad. So the Rebbe said that the Ocher is takapela. Also tzaton, a maisa with 2, 3 oxen with a Sefer Azoyer. The kuda the Rebbe's beard is like, the Rebbe said 2 nekudas. Number one, what's the difference between a simple ox and the Zoyer HaKodesh? So only if you don't understand Achdus Hashem. If you understand Achdus Hashem, the Zelba Eibishter, it's molecular, it's kavod. Everything is the Eibishter. Nakuda number one. Nakuda number two, the Rebbe said, is it's a ola hechitimtza. Ayid has to be niskarev to the Baal Shem Tov. So a few nitzitz kedusha come down at an ox, and the ox runs away to Germany. And again, it's all that there should be a moifus from the Baal Shem Tov, and there should be netoisef a few lines in a mimer. The ox nam gelaufen to Deutschland, that there should be a few more lines in the mimer, like the story with Lovan. That Siddur says that Lovan was running after Yaakov to give him a few more psukim in the Torah. So that's the whole. That's the ganze. That's the beginning, the middle, of the end. That's the Meiser B'chdei Yid on the Skaravan. One of the things when there's a shliach in Brazil that has a little bit of a hand in helping us out of here, basically, final. And have Whiteland. It's a long story of how he helped us out, but the Nakuda is that he told the story that he's a shliach in Brazil. He is a good friend of the Safras. So he was their Rav. So he said that there was a Yid that lived in Brazil and then moved back to New York, but still had his business in Brazil. And he brought him Shabbos Selichos for Matzah Shabbos. Matzah Menucha, he brought him to Seven Tavshin Lamates. Okay. So the guy wrote a pan to the kvittel to the Rebbe, and he put in a check. Rebbe Whiteman brought it to the mosquitoes. That was it. Okay, he gets a call after the Yom Tovim. What's the story with your Rebbe? He doesn't cash checks. Well, they asked me about the cash checks. Doesn't cash checks. He called up Binyamin Klein. More than a year went by. Rabbi Klein said it's sitting on the Rebbe's desk. The Rebbe is not opening it. Well, what can I tell you? It's sitting there. So Rabbi Whiteman said he had a feeling Kiyadua sometimes by the Rebbe that he only cashed a person's check when it was negated to that person. He only cashed a check when it was negated to that person. So it was Erev Yom Kippur, and the Rebbe cashed next year on Erev Yom Kippur. The Rebbe cashed a check. Then the guy was very excited. So he wrote a second check. It was right after Yom Tov. He was so excited, and he got thing back from the bank. He wrote another check to the Rebbe, and it was that day he was going to Belgium. He was going to do business. His parents also lived in Belgium, and the 2 hours after Rabbi Klein brought the thing into the Rebbe's room. An hour or 2 hours later, the Rebbe cashed the check. So it's unusual. He got to Belgium, and he found out his father was in a terrible accident, which he shouldn't have been living. He was in a car accident. His glasses were still stuck in the front glass of that car. And Lepoil, his father was alive. Alamai was in the hospital. It turned out that the moment of the crash, the Rebbe cashed the check. That's the bank. How many checks? Send someone to the bank. So Rabbi Whiteman said, so he saw mamash, he saw gila lakus, So this ahechetimtza, this ma'aseh with the Rebbe is ahechetimtza for a yid. Oh, so then this yid asked for a bracha. For a bracha, it was for himself, for his father. The Rebbe said to check the film the mezuzahs. So they checked that film; they were perfect film. They checked his mezuzahs, and in the mezuzahs taka, the own mezuzah and his mezuzah in his house, look chartam. There was a psul of chartam. The shlich had a feeling, but the Rebbe said also film. So he started asking me, "You're righty or lefty?" He was a righty, but he was putting on his film on his right hand. Like it well. So anyway, so this is Gila Lakus. So it's all a hechitimtza. It's all a hechitimtza and a Gila Lakus. That's it. The story of the Baal Shem Tov with the Shatchin, the Olam Alatzanas Magutu Sheduchim, the Baal Shem Tov with the oxen, the Rebbe with with cashing the check on Erev Yom Kippur, B'dikas film, it's all a heiche timtze and gila lakus. It's all a heiche timtze and gila lakus. And by the way, Take, when we're talking about bushes, a bissel bush, it's Kleingeld. So, but you shouldn't feel that bad because the Kenish wissen tus yene yida toive, that moment when he's swiping his credit card on the campaign in basement Achemenu, that the machst and nissen when it floss. Man kann doch nicht wissen. I got nicht der Rebbes, but the campaign is the boss of this campaign is a Reb. So Kemenish wissen, you might be doing a große toive to a yid when you're getting into. You're doing yoiser, you're doing that yid a bigger toive than that yid is doing for you. But the nekuda is that that's a pshat. That the Alter Rebbe is saying, this is the nekuda in the Maimer, that we feel the unbelievable orders upon him from the Ebesha to us, the unbelievable gila lakus. So from that we have abusha, and from that we want to have a skarbus. Okay, l'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. In the 1 minute that's now after Katzois, that everyone should give tzedakah. So we did a shtickle mimer and we verbringt it's Torah, and we're going to do slichus tefillah and we'll do tzedakah. As we get on Torah tefillah tzedakah, Maybe shall help from the Torah tefillah and tzedakah. Das soll sein a stark bei Klal Yisrael shel yeksiv v'sim Torah v'shana Torah v'msuk. L'chaim, l'chaim, l'chaim. L'chaim, l'chaim. They ever said you have to come to slichus. You're shaking.
You brought this.
Oh, you're walking a straight line. The slichus doesn't count. The slichus, Moshe, slichus doesn't count unless you walk in and you're shaking.
I don't need to come to
Make self
No? This is perfect. That's got to be perfect. Try this. Great. I've been friends with you know bourbon better than I do. We're all separate.
L'chaim, l'chaim. So Polza. Go to my yotz in my life, nechnos in my life. Oh, main. L'chaim, l'chaim, Menachem Mendel. Shona Tov M'sukkah. Shona Tov M'sukkah.
You know what I just found in the liquor store? Mead. Like honey wine.
Oh, yeah?
I've seen a kosher before.
Yeah, yeah. Med. Med. Same thing. What's the difference?
Look, you
And
got
now I'm going to say mint.
What's up? It's a beautiful dog. What? $9,000. You got it?
It's like his head. It's like his head.
You were going that top. I was in second.
In a song, I've seen so many customers. That's why they look at me. Yes, take a picture.
You saw what you saw my WhatsApp post? No status. Look at my status.
Yeah, that's an extra bad from this. Yes. You haven't even made that guards.
One guard on.
No, you better with that, but it's like a small thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he was.
No, somebody.
Yeah. No, but
You don't agree. Yipare Kolba, so she called Shoy the Lambole, so Kanakman Haretio, Yasabado, Hallelujah, Iskada, Iskada, Neira, oh, yes, all of you, yes, he's poetic, he's single, he's not saying, he's adore, he's hallelujah, he's hallelujah. Shmei the kucha beri, Shida, also, Tush Becha, also, Benechem, also, Ramiram the all, Himro, Stop moving. Hey, yo ido shamayit lecho adoyin loi afemunot ofskovika alikedoishi lecho nedaneno ladoinoi norio letzor gishenu Nekademo follow the soil Kifiroi, Snori, Aloi. Sede komishpot, mechoi gisecho, vichesed vigemes, vikadnu folecho, asher yachtom na pixovoid, bebeis Elohim, in Aleph Merokesh, אשר לא יעיונו עשו, יבש ארץ ידם יצורו, אשר בידו נפש כל החוי, ונוח כל בשרי. הנשמה לו, בגופו לו, חוצו, הנשמה לך בגוף שלו, אני לא יעשה למען שמך, פסונו על שמך, אני לא יעשה למען שמך, ברור כבוד שמך כילחנון, שרחום לשמך. למען שמך דמי בסלח ולבוי כנו קידה. Gale ha from the Lord, now be manu veto. וכאן יציר אשר אמרו הנני חמתי את אשר נתתם. Cover our passions, also in the it's a taking on your shoulder, Thomas in trouble saying, no, it's actually no more. We eager with him on it all, even show me never. So to love on them, we say about the shoulder. Ich war mit so habe ja schieben, ich war sei halt haben, warten soll ich haben, sie kommen die gerade in so, ja na, soll ich Shin Falayim Chayim Ismoel Chayim Eto Oivim Im Chol Yishoel Chayim Im Chol Yismoel Avita Vaneim Nu Boeim Nu Boeim just tell me everything happened. Hey, Lord, it's all on the machine. The voices, it's all on the ayo. It's voices, they can I don't get them. Come on, we should go. I gave it. I don't know the on it's yate. Nemo each show. I from the shame. I don't know. I say out the yard, I'm selling, I'm not going to be sure when they ground it. I thought, no, even when that out. So, I'm going to house here, it's no. Ja, gaat nog wel eens een keer zeggen, aan mij, oh, ja, zo nee, afval, het is not aan ja, Heel is al like machine like shesre in skolo ayo shloishes Great Michael we can we should go I hear that when the video no it's got say the oi show why you crawl the shame I don't know Soy menucha, kida menucha, abate vigilo. Ados me promimo, yo kishe, vigilo. Lishmo ya Elohim, Elien, abate vigilo. No, so you know, my soul. And God, the shop for joy. Kinone no ito ibizakam yo ida no yin lishmo ya el hori no ya Gosh bagay na siya yung mga shop Kimberly Shello when explainer the Shabbos in all how they lost that lishmo ya el hori no ya Lui però gli anni mio, perché va vecchia, passa su fino from the field of your no field. This more, yeah, and Cardi, you know, the air. I just hear your hands. Could say, I don't fall. You say, no, it's something I can go, stand in the house. So, for the name, your hits, which more, yeah, and Cardi, you know, the air. And I just go, say, oh, it's lost, something with he share. Go, son, yourself. On that also, in the he made that. This more, yeah, authority, you know, the air. Lots in the light. Hey, you know, and I could, I mean, so I can't, show them no, you don't know, Elohim, I mean, oh, it's your ways. Lishmo, ya Elohim, you know, yeah, lot of people, that's just what I'm saying. So, you know, it all, I'm taking away the kind of things. Just as the Lord, just a get breathing, Lishmo, ya Elohim, you know. If you tell you on the consumers, what's like that? Well, will come what it doesn't call me up. You wouldn't shame me, Lord. This more guy, Lord, no, yeah, not to feel low. So that you're saying the same words. Well, this one, yeah, it's like this. Hillary Salona, like she don't eat chest meat, he don't know I know. Choice chest meat. Come on, get this, come on. Check out. Again, and I'm going to be on it's at a show. I go the shame, I know you know. Where they look. Run along. Let's go on the beach. And yeah, I got not.
Allah evet, şimdi demişler ki bir de Scale out and Robert Flagman giving to have the illusion of the day and the surface in what doesn't really count on the version of the light and the that's what is for me. So that's like this person. I can say across this is from 7 that's going to schools and this is a very passionate about as well as the process of their savings. They know it's going to run out if they are studying. We do not know there's a space of the amount of time on receive, but can the other really say, well, we should go because we're constant with the interest.
Maybe ain't well hard culture. You know, it's similar culture. It's in my oh, you know, I'm saying, this is again. Let it go so. I'm feeling. Healing base, base of Vito. Plasma coile, no, yellow, yellow. Who's the flame of the you? We come in a coming moving on so we met to be lost say no. Watch you mi father is your no. In rock much of all, he got me when I'm like the shade of a rainbow. I'm stage. Flying sky, you know, all it has been. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I'm going to Saturday. Yeah, basically, they were funny about it. Just even with them, slow down. Saying, I don't know, 6 months has been time to let them out of the so they can make sure they aren't. What else? You know, not good. I've got them for some of the final love and then sort of months now. So that is still going to be like that. Finally, to the evening, back then, and I don't trust the in my bus. Just look at the system. It was in the that on this similar different. Yes, they're done. It's like that in Charles and that had been there is just that's high. Should be seen. She's not that just there's a lot of small but she was on down. She's funny about it. Thomas about the English. I don't think about it. I find out that part and she
Singers out and playing television. Graham's on. Selichos found out with the future of health lives of the car. She says now, she really likes that kind of people nice man car, that's instead of Change your family mode, she's a evening, she is some hundred house, but love this. Stop ancestors. I'm flowers, there's what they love by asking. That's good. It's not young, good, we spend the miles. Yes, so this. That. You know. So now, like, say no to the subject to the house, we not pick up the even the drawing. That's the other day. I should have this people name. Sami Gotcha, a thousand and ten, the oh, man, is really good. Positive, good, positive. Similar awesome much stress in the nation life, culture, us, and God, this is a biggest now notice. This is so about those. They usually do not know wrong and you want to mistake parties to so you may on my neighbors, like lunch, even the shade, one neighbors, they don't. I'm
afraid of something, you want me, it's good, I'm not the favorite. Hey, God, you're not wrong. Trust me, get the theater. Watch me, you if they showing a yacht, you know. Trust me, get the wall. Trust me, you saw us. If they showing a yacht, you know. Watch me, things say the you know.